What's up, everybody? This is John from the All Angles Podcast. I wanted to actually put this message in before the start of the podcast because in the beginning we had a little bit of technical difficulty with Riverside, where we actually recorded this through, and we seem to have lost the beginning part of the episode. Probably my fault, but the good thing is it doesn't take anything away from the episode. It doesn't cut anything important off. We just basically kick right into where we get to Julie, who is our special guest today, talking about her story with multiple sclerosis. So I just wanted to make this video to actually just go over that part. Also, I really wanted to appreciate everybody for all your support. A lot of people are watching these episodes, listening, supporting, commenting, liking. The support means more than myself and Cookie could ever really relay to you guys. We appreciate your continued support as we continue to grow this channel and this podcast. We have a lot of new things coming up. We're going to be doing a lot more on the page, so continue to subscribe, share with your friends, and like and comment. Again, we greatly appreciate all of you guys. Yes, so Julie, I would love to hear your story and when you first started noticing. And you do you have MS, or are you like an advocate, or you're living?
No, I have MS. I've had MS for almost 9 years. So
yeah, the floor is yours. I'd love to hear about it.
Okay, so I gotta go a little bit back to move forward. So I've been a yoga instructor for 21 years. I basically teach people to listen to their bodies, right? Not just their bodies, but their minds and their spirits too. It's not just a physical practice, it's a mental practice as well. So I was in Kansas with my boyfriend at the time, and I'm only bringing this part up because it matters, like you said, the process of elimination. And we were road tripping back to Phoenix because I had gotten a cold over the 4th of July that I really was hard to kick. So we road tripped. I picked up a tick on the way home, killed that fucker twice, or once and then twice. And then I got home and I went in for a colonoscopy August 5th. I was 48 years old at the time, and I was trying to get my health in order, and I'd had this issue that is, and I now realize, an MS issue for 25 years. So I went in for the colonoscopy, and basically what happened was I lost about 10 pounds in the prep. And I know you guys can't see me, but I'm about 5'1" and I weigh 95 pounds. So I'm a very small person. So I started the prep at 107. I was down to 97. We haven't recouped it yet. And I told when I walked in, because I'm not an idiot and I know anesthesia is relevant to your weight. So I said, hey, I weigh a lot less than I did, whatever, please tell the anesthesiologist. So I go in, and I wake up to my daughter poking me in the arm. I'm like, why are you in here? And she said they couldn't wake you.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I got up, I got dressed, I was hungry, I wanted food. We went to the grocery store, went back home. 2 days later, I had a dizzy spell and almost hit the ground. And then 2 days after that, my head started to get weird, which I now know is brain fog. So I went to my internist because, again, here I am, the yoga instructor. My body is speaking to me. I'm going to listen to it, because otherwise I'm a big fat phony if I don't practice what I preach, right? So I go to my doctor, and he x-rays my spine, and he's like, your spine looks fine. I'm like, well, it should. I've been doing yoga for, however many years. He's like, you're fine. So a few days later, I went to a chiropractor. I went running a week after the colonoscopy in the heat. And when I came back, I couldn't hold my right leg up anymore. It just basically stopped working. And that's when I went to the doctor. And then I went to a chiropractor as well. And the chiropractor said, it's muscular. Like, he didn't adjust me, which I thought was weird, because he could have adjusted me and said, you have to come back 17 times a week and it's going to cost you. He said, it's muscular, lay off of it. So the pain, the leg drop or whatever it was, it turned into like really bad pain in my right hip. So I went to the internist, the doctor, or the chiropractor, and I laid off of everything for 10 days. I was still teaching, but I wasn't running or moving my body. And then I went back to hot yoga about 2.5 weeks after the colonoscopy. When I got out of hot yoga, now my left arm is like all weird. So I can't hold my right leg up. My left arm is weird. I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Can I say that word?
Swear away.
Go for it.
Because it's literally on my ring.
Nice.
Okay, so I went back to yoga that day. My left arm got weird. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning. My left arm was fine because as I found out, I'm rechargeable. We're rechargeable, right? We get rest. We feel a little bit better. So the next day, same thing. I went to hot yoga. And when I got out of hot yoga, I was heading to teach, but my whole left side went numb. So that's when I drove myself to the ER. I was alone. I was terrified. They took me back right away. They did a CT scan. I'm thinking stroke or brain tumor, CT scan. And then they gave me Vicodin for the pain in my leg and go get an MRI. So I had to go back to Dr. Dipshit is what his name is in my book. And I said, can you give me an MRI order? And he said, well, I don't understand why it's your right leg and your left arm. I go, I really don't care what you understand, but I want the order. So he gave me the order. I got the appointment the next day. I got called the next day, 3 weeks after the onset of these symptoms. And they called me in. They're like, can you come in? And I said, no. And my boyfriend at the time had a herniated disc and a pinched nerve. So he's like, that's what's wrong with you. And they didn't tell me to bring anybody. So I went in alone, and it wasn't Dr. Dipshit. It was Dr. Doesn't Read Reports. He stuck a report in front of me. And then he turned it around to read it, underlined it, turned it back around. He said, there's some suspicious demyelination in your brain. We need to get you into a neurologist and a brain scan. I'm like, I said this to him. I go, what the fuck are you even talking about? I go, I didn't know what it was. It's like, is that a muscular degenerative disorder? Like, it was Friday at 5:30. My boyfriend, whose name is useless in the book,
I need this book.
He called my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, to come get me. I'm like, what? You don't change people's lives like that. So anyways, went home. And again, it was Friday. So my brothers took my insurance card and found out that Mayo here in Scottsdale didn't take my insurance, but Mayo in Rochester, Minnesota did. So I called them Monday and I flew out there Wednesday. I saw my first neurologist Thursday. This is right before Labor Day weekend, 2016. And I had 3.5 hours of MRIs, a spinal tap. Again, I heard how great my spine looked. Blood, they're ruling out like mosquito viruses and Lyme because, right, I had the tick. And started me on 5 days of IV steroid infusions. That was all in one day I did this.
Good Lord.
And he came into the hospital that day, and it was a holiday weekend. So obviously I was on my own for the weekend, but I felt better because I was on a hospital campus versus home in my head wondering what is, because as you know, Adam, there's no guidebook, there's no instructions. You can join these groups, even your doctors. And I work with some of the top neurologists in the country. Even your doctors don't know everything because number one, they don't have it. So they have no idea, you can describe your symptoms to them, but so I went in, came in, he said, we think you had your first attack, CIS. It took me forever to even remember what clinically isolated syndrome was. I had no active lesions, but I had lesions. So I believe I've had this for 25 years. But anyways, moving forward, I went into the hospital every day and got, hooked up on steroids. And I went and stayed at the hotel, and my useless boyfriend, he had to leave the room because he didn't like needles. I know. So
neither does Adam, clearly.
I don't fucking like them either. I mean, none of us do. We're always poked and prodded. So it's like, enough with the needles. So anyways, he came in Tuesday after Labor Day weekend. I'd done my 5 days of steroid infusions, and I handled it really, really well. And he said, you know, here's the name of a neurologist in Phoenix, and I want you on Plegridy, which is a injectable twice a month, and bye. I mean, that was literally it. So my boyfriend took me to the airport. I flew home. While I was flying home, I got a call from one of the places I taught yoga at to tell me that my absences had forced them to give up, because I'd been gone a lot of the summer, to give up my classes. I said, I can sue you, but I won't. I was in the hospital for 8 days. So I left that company. And that company has a lot of money too, but that's not what that's not what I'm about. That's not what this is about. So I came home. I remember walking up my stairs. I was alone. I've spent a lot of time alone with this illness. And I remember the next morning, I wanted to run. So I put on my running shoes. I walked down the stairs, and that was about it. I wasn't running. I came out, so to speak, right away, because I was teaching yoga and my world had just changed and my body wasn't working as well as it used to. And I needed people to know, because I really didn't have the support that, you know, someone needs with this illness, you know, and I don't know what your situation is, Adam, and I'm sure we'll get to that.
Pretty similar.
So I had to wait 6 weeks to see the neuro, and he didn't take my insurance anyways. And I, you know, everything in my body was screaming no to these drugs, like no, 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 no. And I had no support there either. Everybody wanted to blindly listen to what these people were telling me. But I was the one that was going to have to inject, and I was the one that was going to have to deal with the side effects. And I was the one that was going to be fake sick for 3 days every time they injected me. And I wasn't going to be able to run or do yoga, because where my mindset was I'm not going to stop doing these things that I've been doing. Because I did ask the neuro in Mayo. I had 3 questions. I said, can I run? And he said, you can do whatever you were doing before. I said, well, hanging upside down, because I do a lot of handstands, and the blood rushing to my head affect the lesions in my brain and spine? And he said, no. 3rd question, will the heat in hot yoga melt my myelin? He also said no. So I was like, okay. And I, you know, came back, and I'm
just looking at Adam's face, because I don't know much, but that's one I already figured out. The heat.
The heat.
Yeah.
I mean, the heat affects you, but it wasn't going to melt the lesions in my brain. I can no longer, actually, it's the first year of my entire yoga career that I can no longer do hot yoga. So and I've been sick for 9 years. So I came home, I waited for the appointment with the neuro. He had terrible bedside manner. I had to go through the specialty pharmacy, because these drugs are like 50 grand, and then, but the copay is 2,000, but the drug company is going to cover it for me. Thank you. And I got on the webinar, and I didn't like what I heard, and I decided again to listen to my body. And I have also a Chinese doctor in California. He has been my greatest support, my greatest champion. I ended up having to buy a place in California because I see him once a month. He's acupuncture, herbal tea. 2 weeks after I got diagnosed, I was sitting right next to him, and he came up right next to me. He said, we're going to cure you. And I said, I know you are.
Wow.
So anyways, it was literally about 3 weeks from the onset of my symptoms to hearing that I might have MS. And then it was about 4 weeks from the onset till I got the official diagnosis. And my diagnosis was changed in 19 to relapsing remitting. They're whatever, because that was not my first attack. Nothing was moving. Everything was stable and still. So, but I felt like shit for a really long time. And I did end up running about 2 weeks later. I remember going to hot yoga the day after I got home from the hospital, and Miss Badass Yoga Instructor getting up into tabletop pose. And I'm like, okay, this this is going to be a fight. Like, this is a fight. I changed my diet. I lost people. I gave them up, actually. People that cause me stress. If you make me twitch or spasm, I got to say goodbye. I acupuncture, anti-inflammatory organic diet, sleep, yoga, swimming, walking, you know, just I didn't completely give up alcohol, but a lot. I did not give up cannabis. I'm high all the time. It's medicine. I use CBD, I use CBD, CBG, CBD, CBN. I take RSO. I've been taking RSO since like 6 months into my diagnosis. I do CBD drops from Charlotte's Web. Like, nothing has changed, and I'm stable, and I've been stable for a very long time, but I work, it's a full-time freaking job. And especially when you literally don't have the support that you need. So, like, at all, which is shocking because I have family and they're all very intelligent, graduated from Harvard, USC. I haven't heard from one of them in 7 years. Hey, how you doing? Is there anything I can help you with? How are you feeling? Are you okay? My brother, take the tea. You'll be fine.
It's a crazy frustrating thing. And like it's one of the things that stuck out. Mayo Clinic in Minnesota will take your insurance, but Mayo Clinic down the road won't. It's both Mayo Clinic. Like that in itself. I mean, granted, the medicines and the treatments and stuff are also costly and everything. And just to have to go through that circus.
Well, and then what I did stupidly enough about 10, 11, 12 years ago, I upped my deductible to lower my, so I have a $10,000 deductible. So I don't get MRIs every year. I mean, I will if I need to, but I go every other year because that's, I mean, my most of my wellness and healthcare is paid out of pocket. So it's, you know, that's all I do. That's what I do. You know,
Well,
I mean, I used to do other things, but I make sure I'm in one piece. I have 2 children. I mean, they're not children, but they're adults, but you know, they matter to me. And I know that there's people that are inspired by me and my story, even though sometimes, and Adam, I'm sure you can attest this, you just feel so desolate, dark, and alone, you know, but then someone speaks to you out of the woodwork and, hey, I see what you're doing. Thank you so much. You know, so
that's what keeps me going is getting like the messages from people that say, hey man, you inspired me to do this, or I stood up from my wheelchair today, or stuff like that. That keeps me going because it is hard and it is lonely.
And you're completely misunderstood. So if you see my social media, you'll see a very tiny, strong woman hanging upside down on one arm or doing a major back bend. And I do these things every day that I feel okay, but they're also photographs. I am not walking around on one hand. I have to do everything to stay strong because I don't have a caretaker. I don't have a partner. I don't have anybody that understands. There's, you know, and then there's a whole nother piece to my puzzle, but we can maybe get to that later. So,
well, I do want to bring up, because you're the second person in my life I've ever had a chance to speak to and hear the story of MS, and Adam being the first. As Adam heard, and when we did our episode the other day, the only thing I literally ever knew about MS was from watching The West Wing. So I knew nothing. But I can tell you, just hearing 2 stories, and a little bit, as these 2 will tell you, the TikTok group that kind of gets together on lives that I've now been invited into, which I'm very honored for. I'll give Adam all the shit in the world, but it is cool to now be included in that group. Is there's common themes really kind of coming out now that you're showing, and that's number 1, misdiagnosis and doctors not really understanding. That's probably the wrong way to put it, but not really understanding what's going on, or maybe not truly trusting maybe even their own instincts about what's really happening when you're telling them what's going on. And the other part of this that, you know, John and I will have to relate to, because we're the ones that aren't dealing with this is the incredible strength you guys have, and how frankly pathetic I think the two of us feel, because you're sitting there still doing the yoga. Adam, I mean, I've been watching Tour de France for 2 weeks, and then I go on Facebook and it's Adam riding around on a bike when he can barely function at this point. And I'm like, God, I'm a big fat piece of shit that doesn't do anything. Like, what am I doing? I'm healthy.
It hurt getting out of bed this morning because I went to a concert yesterday.
No, it's unbelievably inspiring, impressive, and it's probably not necessarily what you guys want to hear, because you don't. Adam, I know, because he mentioned this. You don't want anybody.
We don't like being called strong.
Right. You don't want anybody feeling sorry for you, but tough shit, you're going to hear it because it's true. And I understand why you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you, it's impressive. But going back to the original point is the misconceptions, first of all, and the difficulty in getting that diagnosis just from the start, and how difficult that is it seems to be a common theme at this point. And
what's crazy is, like, we must have had the same doctor, because I also had a Dr. Dipshit. I had a Dr. Dipshit too. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. He must have had practice there and in Michigan. It's wild.
It always seems like a lot of people's stories start off with a doctor. It's just like, we'll tell you everything in the world is wrong with you except anything close to what's actually wrong with you.
Right.
And then the first doctor's job is to simply annoy you enough to the point where you go ask somebody else, and then you start kind of getting some answers and everything like that. And yeah, it's like you're like, you don't like being called strong. You're like, because you don't want to be known as strong for that.
Right.
Well, it's almost like, so being strong is like applauding us for taking a hit.
Right.
And especially,
exactly.
And that is something I saw somewhere once, and I get called strong a lot. And yes, I am physically strong, but I'm really not. Again, I'm 95 pounds. Yes, I can stand on my hands, but I've been working on that for 20 years.
Yeah.
But I was also involved in a trauma, several trauma situations, but something pretty horrific a couple years ago inside my home. And that shut my brain down. And I don't know, Adam, if you've ever had any situations where your brain just like, it's almost like it's paralyzed. It stops working. So between the misunderstanding of what I live with because of what I look like, and not understanding what we live with or what trauma is like, is I think what makes this a very isolating, lonely illness.
Well, before Adam jumps in, because I know he wants to, but you brought up something that I think we talked about in our episode with Adam. Is I think it is important for someone who looks like Adam and someone who looks like you to be telling this story. Because when us ignorant fools think of people with illness, we're looking for decrepit old people, and you're not. You are physically strong, like in appearance and all that, but there is that underlying issue. Adam, you look at Adam and you're what, 6'5", big dude, covered in tattoos, got the funky hair, all that stuff. And you don't look at Adam and go, yeah, that guy's sick. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'd say he's sick, but not for
well, he's sick. Yeah. It is
just read the comments, John. Just check out the comments if you haven't seen them already.
It is important for you guys to be the ones speaking out as much as anybody, because it just shows. And Adam brought up something that John didn't even know, and he's been kind of researching this for a bit for the documentary, is that, women are more, are higher on the list of people to get MS than men. And I was surprised to hear that. I don't know why I was surprised, because I don't know anything about it, but it just seemed interesting to me that women are more predisposed to MS than men.
I was actually shocked.
But men fare worse than women.
Well,
no, but men fare worse than women.
Well,
Usually, yes.
That is that, and maybe because there's less of you, I don't know. So it comes out more.
It seems to hit us harder and more aggressive.
Well, I meet with these doctors. There was a part of my story I want to get back to when we get a chance about the charity that I do work with, and I have worked with for the last 9 years, I've raised over $110,000 with my one-handed handstand pictures.
Wow. That's amazing.
Literally.
That's awesome.
Anyways, okay.
Well, Adam, you have for lack of a better term, the highest form, correct, of MS?
Yeah, primary progressive right off the bat is what I had. But yeah, what I was going to say, going back to like how you look and people saying you're strong and stuff, I get it a lot. But what sucks is people don't understand how hard it is to be this strong all the time. And we don't have an option. We don't have a choice. I mean, there is a choice, but to me and to you, it's not a choice. Like, we have to be this strong all the time. And you're right. I don't look sick. I get the weirdest looks when I roll up into a handicap parking spot with heavy metal music blaring and everybody stares at me and I get out and I can barely walk. But you see me just sitting down, you see me like this. Like you said, I look like a big, strong guy. You can't tell that I can barely walk. It's hard to get past that, judgment at first. 'Cause, oh, what's wrong with you? Or what's this? Well, oh, I didn't know. It's hard, but this has been 6 years for me now. So it's gotten better over the years. I've gotten better at just ignoring those. And like you said, cutting people out. Like, I don't need that type of stuff. So I'm just not going to be around you anymore. If you don't support me, then I don't need you.
And and stress, as you know, MS is one of those illnesses that is highly affected by stress. And I have so much stress that I've had to cut people out. Like, I don't have a choice. Like, it's not you, it's me, but it is really you. But, it's not that you're a bad person. You're just a bad person for me.
It's not me.
So right. I mean, it's really not. And I mean, we're talking family. We're talking friends I've had for 40 years. We're talking, I've heard some of the most stupidest things come out of people's mouths. And it's like, I just again, if you make me twitch or spasm or
yeah. Oh, this is good. Yeah.
Adam's Bitcoin which is funny because if you talk to Adam for more than 5 minutes, you're just like, how are you coming up with toxic positivity? But
well, it's like spiritual gangster, same thing. Like, it's just
Julie, where did you end up finding that support system that you didn't have?
Through the Race to Erase MS. Honestly, they're my support system. So I talked to my mother, who's been absent from my life for pretty much ever. And I remember sitting in the car, it was like 3 days after I got home from the hospital, and I just told her, you got to leave me alone. And then I contacted charities because I was like, I cannot sit here in my bed and do nothing. Like, I just, for whatever reason, I wanted to fight. I have a philanthropist grandfather, actually, which is really funny, which I didn't even realize until many years after I started doing this, but I was with him while he was an honored philanthropist. I'm actually an honored philanthropist. I was honored at my charity, Race to Erase MS, for raising all this money.
That's awesome.
So I called the MS Society and I called the Race to Erase MS because those are really two of the only charities. And a lot of people aren't familiar with Race to Erase MS. And I got a hold of the woman who helps run the Race to Erase MS charity, and she gave me a family. And so I started my first virtual fundraiser. I put up a stupid yoga picture and wrote a stupid spoken word poem, which my daughter hates my spoken word poetry because I am not a writer. I'm an author, but I'm not a writer. And I raised like $3,000 in like a month. Like, people, my yoga students just started throwing money at me. It was really amazing. And every year I raise $10,000. And they have this epic event. I've met Selma Blair. I've seen Jack Osborne. Kelly Osborne was there this year. They have this gala. So the founder of the charity, Nancy Davis, her father used to own Fox Studios, Marvin Davis. Oh, wow. She got diagnosed 30-something years ago, and her doctor told her she was never going to be able to do anything but use her remote control. So instead, this woman with connections and clearly drive, right? She founded this charity. It used to be a ski race in Aspen because she lived and so Race to Erase MS. And we've raised close to $60 million over the past 32 years. And this money funds this group of doctors from USC, Harvard, Yale, a bunch of different hospitals and they all work together. So they share their findings versus keeping their, stuff on the down low. So the money I raise actually goes to my own physicians, because not only did she give me the charity, but she hooked me up with a neurologist too. Now I'm kind of in between, but the new neurologist that I am going to see in California, my insurance works there too, but not here. She
It's
just won an
crazy in the
award.
middle of the desert where you are in Phoenix and having a hard time finding a place to go.
It's because it's independent insurance. I've had it for like 20 years. When I got divorced from my husband, they just grandfathered me in. So I was told, because I've asked around, that hospitals, like, because I go to USC and UCLA in California, they accept my insurance. But Mayo Clinic here in Phoenix does not accept my insurance.
Crazy.
It's insane. So
massive hospital, and they don't.
Right. So I work with this charity from September to date of my diagnosis to April. I do these stupid photo shoots, and I, make these stupid poems and beg people for money. I do a couple of yoga charity events too. But COVID kind of obviously changed the whole landscape for everything. And, but it's getting harder. I mean, I'm 57 years old. I'm tired. I've had this illness for 9 years, and I've been managing it by myself. So yeah, I'm strong as fuck because I have no choice. Like, otherwise I would be in my bed. I mean, I would be in my bed no matter what I look like.
And that's the thing of it is, like, again, it just goes right back to, it's like, you don't want to be the sign of strength or anything for all this stuff, but because of what you're doing, it's honestly impossible to not be inspired by it from the outside, and it's people like you, and it's people like Adam and some of these other people I've met where I'm like, why I made the decision to go from just like one documentary movie about people living with it to wanting to do a bunch of different episodes, because everybody's story's similar enough but different enough, and they can inspire other people. And honestly, if each episode gets 1 or 2 views, but one of those people is helped along the process because of it, that's the whole thing of it. And it's spreading the awareness about this illness, because myself and Cookie were both relatively well-informed people. And it was just something like when I'm like, oh, I don't really know anything about this, I'm like, that it almost took me back a little bit, and I was just like, okay. And when I started looking into it, to see, just hearing stories like your beginning doctor visits where you just kind of disregarded and having to move on, and the anger you have about the first doctors and Adam has, it's like pretty common, and I can't help but laugh at it every time, because these guys go to school for so long, and it's like, hey man, you're just a fuckhead at the end of the day. Like, you didn't help me at all. And but it's like, you see it and you're like, you're doing this and you're raising money. Adam does a numerous different charities where he'll do things like a bike run and all this other kind of stuff, where he literally will walk business to business and get do face-to-face donations for things, and be out there doing it. And like Cookie said, he's posting videos where he's riding his bike around his neighborhood more. And
I watch them while my ass is sitting on the couch, so I feel like
yeah, I would be like, I watch Adam and I'm like, I would ride so much better while I'm doing that. But and that's the thing of it. That's this whole documentary, and it's called A Battle Within, and I have the trailer on my YouTube, and it was like when it was just a movie. And these stories are amazing, not just for the illness, but just as people. And it's like, man, people going through this and doing this much, not just for themselves, but I mean, look at what you guys are doing for everybody else. And that's a humongous part of it, whether you meant to be like that or not. It's where you're in, and it's what you're doing with it all. And I hate to use the word cool. Like that's one of the things. It's,
okay.
Yeah, it's like it's a great,
not a bad
cool
word.
thing. Yeah, it's like it's a cool thing you guys are doing, because there's a lot of people that we talk to every day, and they're living with it and they're trying to exist.
Well, it is cool for one thing, and I'll bring Adam back in, because you've both mentioned that early on support system lacking at the onset, and Adam, you just the other day I saw on Facebook, we're hosting a Facebook or a social media kind of get together for people that are recently diagnosed to try and help them find that support system. If you want to talk a little bit about kind of what you're doing there.
I do. I did it. I started it with my friend Kathy and Molly, And then they both, for life reasons, had to back out. So it kind of just became mine. So once a month now, I do a newbie support group, and I try to keep it between like under 3-ish years. And I just let them come in. I have topics ready to talk about, but I usually don't need them because it's their floor. They can just come in and ask anything they want. And what I don't want is to have somebody that's had it for 25 years that's just an old curmudgeon that just gives them terrible advice. Like, I don't want that. I feel like in my 6 years, it hasn't been that long, but I've been through hell and back already. So most of the stuff they talk about, I have something that I can say or try to point them in the right direction. Yeah. And the more people you get in there, the more ideas you get. Like I think it was last week, we had a new guy came on. He's probably like mid-30s. He had just been diagnosed in February, just a couple months ago. Oh, and wow. So it was really awesome that, he made that choice early on to find support, to try to get help. And we had a great conversation. I do it the second Thursday of every month. And we get new people in every month, and it's really good. I enjoy that.
That's amazing, actually. And I know that it helps people that are newly diagnosed to talk to someone. So I've become the person, not in such a public manner, even though I've tried, but whenever anyone I know, and I know a lot of people, I've taught yoga for 21 years. I've taught thousands and thousands of people. So whenever anyone has MS, they reach out to me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, just give them my phone number, like literally. And going back to what you said, Adam, is us hearing that we are inspiring people helps us to keep going, because mm-hmm. it is very hard to find your purpose sometimes, even though you know it. Yeah. But it's like you're climbing out of just a hole every single day.
And like, that's why I like it so much, because like you, I didn't have that when I was first diagnosed. I was just me the first year, not knowing anything. Like Cliff, I didn't know anything about MS when I was diagnosed with MS. I didn't know a thing. So I got a crash course in it. And that first year was pretty bad, pretty dark. And that's why I do that, because I don't want anyone to go through what I did. I want to be that support system for them. And same with you. Anyone I hear, I was like, hey, you can get a hold of me anytime you want. You can call me. Mm-hmm. I've had so many people, like friends and family, that have stuck around. They'll hear about somebody with MS and they'll text me and be like, hey, this person just had diagnosed with MS. Can I give them your number? Yes, of course you can. Have them reach out to me. I'll gladly talk to them.
Yeah, those kind of things are just great, because I mean, for people that have other illnesses and stuff, that's one of the first things is, I'm sure, feeling alone, because you immediately know it's like, well, who am I going to talk to about this? Nobody knows what I'm going through, and there's a lot of anger and stuff with it. So it's a great angle, and it's a great resource, and it's exhausting for you guys. I mean, doing anything is exhausting for you guys. So to put your time and energy into strangers many of the time can really be a thing. And it's like I said, it's an admirable thing. And you're just like, yeah, thanks, I'm admirable. Can I have a fucking day off, please? Or
But you know what? They're really not strangers, I have to say. I mean, you meet someone with MS, it's like you're instantly bonded. Mm-hmm. Like, you can go out to dinner with your normal friends and family, and something like you'll spill a glass of water but you'll do it with your friends with MS, and they'll laugh because they know they do it too. It's, you know what I'm saying? So there's a quiet, not even a quiet understanding, there's just an understanding, no matter, at this event, there's people that are, I am fully walking. I'm running. I mean, this is how I am, but I also know there's so many people that are incapable and unable to even get out of bed in the morning, or they get up, they're back in bed. Like it took me about 17 months to feel like $750,000. And right, like not $1 million, but like to get back up to a place where and then I spent every single day, like it's Groundhog Day. You understand that, Adam, don't you? Do you live Groundhog Day? I live Groundhog Day.
I say that all the time.
I mean, like it's time. Like, is it Saturday or Wednesday? Who cares? I'm still getting up and taking my vitamin D and my CBD and drinking my water and taking my Chinese tea and making sure that, my legs are good and my head's okay. And yeah.
I was worried Adam hadn't seen that movie or got the reference. And I was just worried he wasn't going to be there, so that made me happy.
What? I was coughing at the time. That's what happened. All right, I was coughing.
I just mean because you're younger. I just
Younger.
wasn't sure if that was
You're
on your.
the young guy here.
How old are you,
I'm
Adam?
not. I'm 43.
Yeah, you're the young guy here.
I always forget.
Okay,
Actually,
so you were diagnosed late.
I was 37.
Sort of.
37.
Oh, you were. Oh, that's right. Okay, so you were diagnosed right in the. Okay, that's right.
and here's
For 6 years.
an accidental compliment to Adam is like he just said he's 43. I forget that every single time. I always think Adam's like in his mid 30s.
Because I look so young. Look at me.
You do look young.
You do, and it's just funny. And it's like I just like you're like 43, and I'm like, oh crap, that's right. And so, but the sense of humor thing you said, how can people laugh? It's actually that's something that I've just fallen in love with Adam and the group of people he talks to. Like we all have a very dark sense of humor. I've said things that I would never say to other people, but I've said them to Adam, and he laughs and encourages it. And then there's just like the other people that just have their things that they say, and it's like it's stuff they live with, and it's funny to them. And you have to.
Just speaking of that, John,
Oh, no.
you know that button when you turn your camera on your phone, and it says disable flash?
Oh my God. That t-shirt's for my generation.
Jokes like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
The young guy with the flash shirt.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, the sad part is that actually comes from a meme I sent to Adam. So,
Oh, really? Okay.
oh yeah, so I'm definitely part of the problem, and it's funny just because like when you're in it, like I tell people all the time, if I forget something, I'm like, sorry, I have friends with MS, I forget things all the time.
Exactly.
Like, I use you guys as scapegoats all the time. So, but these are just again just insane stories to hear from the outside perspective, especially when I see people in the regular world just puttering along like things are going so horribly. And for people, and I'm not saying they're not, like people's traumas and the things they're going through are valid.
Very real. Yeah.
And it's not to take away from anything that they're going through, but just to see people that have it a bit harder pushing that much harder. And like you said, every freaking day, it's like, okay, like I would like to take the next week and not inspire anybody if that's okay.
I mean, I've been sick for
sucks.
like 3,700 days, literally. 3,700 days in a row.
And that's what John, what you just said. Like, yeah, it would be great to take a week off. But if I took a week off, I would be set back like months because of it. And like instantly.
Yeah. We don't get breaks. Like there's no breaks. Like, people talk about, they haven't been on a vacation. I haven't been on a trip that hasn't involved a doctor or, someone giving me a dirty look at the airport when I want to pre-board because I don't want to sit in the jetway with all your germs because I don't want to get sick because if I get sick, I may be okay, but then I'm 3 weeks pushed back to being strong again. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, those setbacks are detrimental. And so let me ask you guys this, like with the documentary, like one thing I've made clear is I'm not going into this documentary talking about science. The whole mission of this is to talk about what it's like for people to live with it, to make it a human element and to really make people connect on that level. Because to be honest with you, for the layperson, we don't give a crap about the medicine or the science or anything. That's how you're going to lose people. But to spread awareness and to raise awareness, you have to humanize it. And you have to say, this is what people are going through on a daily basis. So doing these kind of things and...
Sorry, John, I'm distracted by the cute cat.
Yeah, I see the cat. Cat's like, I'm looking for some screen time, please and thank you.
Is that a three-legged cat? Is that what that is? Nice.
My tripod.
Awesome.
You know what? That cat doesn't complain.
John hates
She's looking for her legs. She's always looking for her legs.
That's great. That can't.
There's that humor again.
There's the humor right there. But doing these kind of things. So I'll ask Adam first, and then Julie. Like when doing something like this, being people with MS, what kind of stuff do you guys want to see in these episodes and in these series bits to help really raise the awareness and to make people actually connect with it or start looking into it more? Because I can be a storyteller, I could be a videographer, photographer, But being from the outside looking in, I don't know what to look for if I don't know what I should be looking for, if that makes sense. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. What I think about it is I try not to do it. I try to share my bad times too. But when you're doing all the social media stuff, you usually see us at our best.
Yeah.
Because we accomplished something. I rode a bike. I did this. You don't get to see us when we are terrible because we can't do anything. That's what I think needs to be seen. Or like when the MS documentary comes out, where the film they did, like seeing me at the class and seeing me struggle and seeing how hard it is for me to do the easiest things. Like for me, you could just watch me walk and you would see how hard it is and how terrible it is for me to walk. All the stuff I can do, and I can do a lot because I've worked my ass off to get there. Walking is the absolute hardest thing for me to do, every single step. I think that's the stuff you need to see. Or see me riding a bike for almost 4 miles today, which I'm super impressed with.
I was too, by the way, just so you know.
See me trying to walk inside, which is walk up the 2 steps into my house. See me resting for an hour afterwards.
You were finishing your ride, and then when you were talking, you're like, I hope I don't bite it when I just try and dismount off the bike. Like things that we wouldn't think about.
Right.
And what's funny is the reason I do the way I do, I have the tailgate down in the truck so I can go right up to it and plop down onto it if I need to. I 100% fell off my bike right onto the tailgate on that whole video. That's when I was like,
really?
woo! Oh, yeah. And it's like, you have to plan stuff like that and see how long it takes me in the morning to wake up, to actually get out of bed, to bounce off all the walls, to go to the bathroom when I first wake up, or wake up in the middle of the night and I can barely walk, my legs aren't working. All the bed yoga routine that I do every morning to get my body moving some. Like, that's the stuff that needs to be shown. Because like I said, usually we only show our best. I try to be more vulnerable than that and show me at the bad times to show that people can, this is what I really go through. Because as you guys know, John and Cookie, I get a lot of flack from a lot of people because of how I look, how I act, how I am. And people don't think I'm disabled. And I just want to throw those right up to them, because I'm like, I fucking wish, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I work, and I like to say too, I work really fucking hard to walk this bad. Like, that's all I do is work on it. And I walk terribly and for not very long, but I'm walking. I wasn't walking. I am walking.
Now you're walking.
Yep.
Amazing.
What about your views there, Julie?
I mean, I agree, because I am physically capable of walking. I have my own issues. Most of mine resides up here. I definitely have a left arm issue and a right leg issue, but physically I feel like I am okay. But there are days when I call it my wall, where if you don't get fucking horizontal right then and there, you literally feel like you're going to die. Like, it's like hot wax is underneath your skin, just like dragging you down, or heavy towels, so people don't see that. People don't know that it takes me 2 hours to get out of bed in the morning. I can't pop up. And there's a physical reason, which is what sent me into the colon to get that colonoscopy. Like, I'm home until my mornings, without getting into too much detail.
I fully understand what you're talking about.
Right? Okay. I mean, I wrote it in my book, so it's public knowledge, but the loneliness I feel.
Just think of this like a number 2 pencil. Just think about it that way.
And I should have good strength, but I also had 2 babies that, so, but for me, it's just, nobody sees me as sick. And not that I want people to see me as sick. That's not what I want either. But I want you to have compassion. What? Say
we
it,
just
Adam.
want people to see us, just us. Not a label. I just want to be seen and not have a label put on me. and for not have a label put on me. You know, that's what I would like, just to be seen.
And the reason I let him talk is because with MS, if someone has a thought
I would have
and
forgot.
you're interrupted, it's gone. So
I appreciate that.
I've cut my finger. I've almost cut this finger off twice because of MS. I now use gloves. My son is like, Mom. I'm like, no, I'm fine. But when the avocado pit disappeared and I sliced, jars go flying. So I guess I need to say this because it's part of my story. I was assaulted inside my home in California while I was unconscious by someone I knew. So with that being said, this was 2 years ago. That's when my brain shut down. So I was severely traumatized, and trauma with MS is something that I don't even know how to. It took 4 months for me to start talking to myself again. And Adam, I don't know if you talk to yourself, but I talk to myself. I'm home alone all the time. So, and then because that happened to me, my safety net and the people around me, it wasn't even in my control anymore, because here I have this neurological disorder and now I've been traumatized. So my nervous system is under like attack. The only things I was able to do was run, do yoga, and I picked up the guitar because I needed to keep my hands working. I needed to keep my brain working, even though it had shut down. And I got phone calls from, now the men in my life were actually much more supportive, shockingly, but these are men that are like, I'm sorry. Like, what else can you say, right? You're sorry. My girlfriend, who I didn't even tell, calls me, so you done drinking? I'm like, no, I don't have an alcohol problem. You do. So I don't want to talk to you ever again. Like, my body now, on top of the MS and the stress, I now have this trauma. So it's like even more isolation, if that makes sense. So I sold my house. I tried to sell my condo. It didn't sell. So I gutted it. I'm back in it as of April. Couch is obviously gone. Fortunately, it didn't happen in my bed because that's my safe place. So with that happening and the MS, it's like I can physically get through my days, which is such a great gift. I mean, I wake up every morning grateful that I can stand on my feet, because I know, I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I know that sucks all the fucking asses, and that so many people that I know and love cannot walk like I can. So that's a reminder. I have chills all over my body of why I do what I do and why I put myself out there to raise this money for these top doctors, because we need a cure. That's what we need. We need remyelination. We need a cure. Period. End of story. So anyways, there's realities, I mean, just everyone thinks I'm fine because I look fine. And it's so not even true. I wake up wondering who's crawling around my house right now and who's, because then I actually bought a house in Phoenix by a builder who lied about everything. And I had a year of workmen, just here fixing all of his fuck ups. So this just stopped 2 months ago. So I am now trying to go back and heal from the assault and to be upright and figure out who's friend or who's foe.
Yeah.
Because, with what we live with, it's just so hard living misunderstood every single second of every single day. Honestly.
Yeah, John, I would argue, based on, I think this was already obvious, but based on this conversation, that the reality is what needs to be shown, like the day-to-day reality, and not the social media, everything's great reality. It's the true reality. But I guess one of the last questions I have for both of you, and this might be a clearly impossible question, although Julie, you kind of nailed it, but I don't know where we get there, is what's next as far as MS as a whole? I mean, a cure is the ultimate goal, but until we get to that point, what is next? What do people need to know? And as far as, and Adam, I asked you this in our last episode. It's like there's a bit, and I have a good friend who had Lyme disease. Obviously, John and I have talked about Ren and his battle with Lyme disease and the misconceptions around that. And it's the, for lack of a better term, believability that there's something there that's just not right. It's not, a back issue that's causing your leg to go numb. It's something more. What's the next thing you guys want to see?
I mean, I agree with you. The reality, the waking up, the us taking hours to get out of bed, and obviously we get out of bed differently, but and then going through each and every day like Groundhog Day, and me waking up and the anxiety hits right away because what am I going to have to deal with today? And I teach fucking yoga for a living. I mean, that's what I do, and I actually had to take a leave because my cup is so empty right now that I can't, I need some refilling.
Sure.
And it's very hard in a world that doesn't understand because we look okay, or because, you just don't understand. And it's very lonely. It's very lonely. So I have a question for you, Adam, real quick. Are you on medication? Are you on Ocrevus?
I'm on Ocrevus, yeah. I've been on it since the beginning, and I haven't had any new lesions, nothing at all since then. So it's been doing its job for me. Everything else, though, I try to do naturally. I take as few drugs as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I try to do, I don't follow any specific diet, but I stay away from things that I know are going to harm me. Like, I don't eat a lot of sweets. I don't drink caffeine. I don't drink beer anymore. I don't drink alcohol at all. I, try to stay away from anti-inflammatory stuff. I do my best. I couldn't stick to a diet if my life depended on it. That's just how I am. And I also think
enjoyment.
MS, I was about to say that, MS took so much from me. I mean, it took my career. It took all my sports from me. I mean, it wrecked my body. I mean, I'm still a big, strong guy, but I was a lot bigger and a lot stronger. And sports were my life. And that's gone. But if I want pizza, I'm going to eat a fucking pizza. Simple as that.
I mean,
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
I should have said, sorry. Let me correct that statement.
This guy.
Let me correct it.
Oh, shit.
If I want a fucking hot dog, I'm going to eat a fucking hot dog.
You had to go there. I do want to say, because, Julie, obviously, as a yoga instructor and still doing it, that's amazing. Adam works with an amazing physical therapist trainer that has created this program for MS patients. And correct me if I'm wrong, but how that all works, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if Julie knows kind of that program that you work with that has actually helped you immensely.
So my physical therapist, I've been with her for like 4.5 years now. She actually used to work down in Columbus with Dr. Boster, which I'm sure you've heard of. Mm-hmm. She was in that clinic, did physical therapy there. She's at University of Michigan now. We've been talking about this class since I started going to see her. We finally got it going last year. It's all high intensity interval training, and it's all for MS, and it's making us do stuff that I never thought I would be able to do again. And there's like 10 to 12 of us doing it. And there's people that are in wheelchairs, so she modifies it to them, the moves. So the moves aren't the same, but you're getting the same outcome from them. She's very, very knowledgeable about that. And I've done 2 out of the 3 classes. It just finished last week, and I'll be doing the next one in October. If I could do it all year long, which I hope I'll be able to now, because she's trying to get more of them. She's trying to spread it to more clinics so they can start doing it. And it's outside of insurance. They got grants for it. It cost us $10 a visit. That's it.
Amazing.
And so cool. It's like I said to these guys the other day, like I did burpees. I can barely walk, and I did burpees.
Can't fucking do burpees.
Exactly. The last class we did was like all plyometrics, all body weight, and all like jumping and stuff. And you wouldn't be like, actually like jogged in place like relatively quickly. And I was so goddamn proud of myself for that.
That's amazing.
Because everything for me, it's so slow and controlled because my balance is so bad. And so like I cannot say enough good words about her in that class because it's just incredible to do things that you never thought you could do again. Just like riding the bike. Like I can do it. I didn't ever think I could. I just went out and tried. And I love it. And speaking of yoga, have you ever heard of Yoga Moves MS? .org.
Maybe.
They're based out. It's based out of Michigan. Mindy Eisenberg, she's the founder of it. Her mom had MS. She was a yoga instructor.
Think so. Yeah. There's people in MS or in Michigan that I know. There's a guy. What's his name? Anyways,
it'll come to you.
Well.
But when I wasn't walking, when I was still learning to walk again, like that community doing yoga like that changed my life. Like I couldn't even sit upright without leaning back because everything was so weak because I lost all my muscle so fast. And so like I love that you're a yoga instructor because yoga was a huge part of my recovery. Huge.
I mean, yoga is becoming one of those things that I think everybody needs, especially as they get older for disability.
I mean, I do it every day that I can, not for very long sometimes, and I mostly just practice myself. I don't go to a lot of classes, but because I want to do what I want to do, and I know how to. I want to keep my strength up, but I'm very interested in this class because I just started strength training for the first time in my life, like 4 months ago. So yeah, I would love to, learn about that and even like attend or whatever. That would be fabulous too.
Yeah, we'll make sure links get to both of you guys, and we'll put them in the descriptions of this for anybody who might also be watching this.
Yeah.
Because I know one thing about this. There's a lot of people with it that have it, and they spectate and they watch, and they don't quite engage yet. They're maybe not ready to engage. So that's why not even just I know I came into this wanting to hear more about what people would want to see for the documentary, but it's more importantly people to see you guys. To say, okay, look, here's somebody going through what I'm going through, like you said, just people who understand, and to be able to say, okay, so there's a guy doing something I didn't think I could do, but he's doing it, and he talks about how he just fell off his bike, so he's clearly not like 100% over here. So, but it's those kind of things. They're huge wins for the MS community because it's such a misunderstood place. My biggest joke about it is the more I learn, the more I realize I know nothing. Because it's so different for everybody, the way it hits everybody. You both have touched on trauma. One thing I know I've heard is a lot of times trauma can be what activates it, just going through something like that. And so, and like you said, I mean, it's hard to go into something like this and knowing, okay, I need to come and film somebody on a bad day. And I've expressed that to Adam before, because if they see you guys as fine all the time, then everyone's like, it's nothing to take seriously.
Lucky for you, John. Every day is a bad day.
Yeah, great.
Especially when John's around.
Yeah, no shit. Talk about stress, goddamn.
But and the crazy thing is, like, the thing that always blow my mind is like the excessive need for vitamin D for people with MS. Yet there's you can't be out in the heat, and it's so funny how like people like myself or Cliff. We just, there's things you don't think about. And the joke I always bring up is like Adam was hurting one day. And I'm like, well, you should just go sit in the sauna for a while. Oh, no, you were sick. I'm like, you should go sit in the sauna for a while. I'm thinking just to sweat everything out. And Adam's like, well, I don't think, Adam was so nice about it. He was like, I don't really think that would be a good idea. And then our other friend, Becky's like, please don't kill my friend.
Not everybody has issues with the heat because it's about 2/3. But I will also tell you this. I could go into a hot yoga room for 50 minutes to an hour, and it made my nerve pain go away, which was shocking. But you stand me outside with the hot sun beating on me, I feel like I'm melting. Like, so it does certain things affect people differently, but now I have the heat issue too.
Every time you've mentioned hot yoga in this talk right now, I can just imagine myself as a big puddle on the ground. Like that's all I would be.
Well, I started when I went back after my diagnosis, I actually started bringing cold, wet towels, and then I filled a because my Chinese doctor didn't like me in there. He kept saying no. And there were certain things I didn't tell him. But I would put ice cold water in a hydro flask and I would dump it all over my brain and spine like every 5 to 10 minutes in class. So I would keep myself cool. But I haven't been able to go. It's been about since November, and I won't go back. I don't need to go back. It's fine.
So
90 degrees is hot enough.
Yeah, and you're in Arizona, so you might actually be melting. So,
Jonathan,
well, I'm very acclimated to the heat too because I've lived in Arizona for 33 years. I believe I've had MS since I was 25, but I'm living in this desert kind of pushed it back until that incident with the
But it's a dry heat.
it is a dry heat.
Yeah. So turn your oven on and stick your head.
That's a dry heat too.
Yeah,
I do cold plunge. I have a cold plunge, and I've been doing that for 6 years. You know, Joe Rogan, you guys are familiar with Joe. Yeah. So I have the one that he has. So, cause I know them, they live in Arizona, the owners of the company. And that is very helpful in the heat. Like I don't stay in it long. I don't keep it at 32 degrees. It's at 55 degrees. But I do get in it in the summer, and it does help with the nerve pain, and it helps with, it's 115 out there and I'm stuck inside all day.
Yeah.
So
that's brutal. Coming up on, I'm wrapping this up here. I do want to talk about one more thing is, Julie, I want you to talk about your book.
Yeah.
Like I said, I went to your website. And we're going to get to look at it. I went to your website and I didn't look into it.
I need the book.
I went to your website, didn't really look into it. I wanted you to kind of just give us a quick synopsis on it. And I know obviously I'm assuming about your journey with MS. And also let us know where to get it. I guarantee Cliff will be ordering it.
I will be ordering it as soon as I can.
Okay, so I hate writing. I've never been a writer, but when I got diagnosed, I bought a journal. And I'm showing you the actual journal because this is a big thing for me. And I started keeping track of everything, people to contact, things the doctor said, because as I say in my book, my brain took a permanent shit. And so I started writing in this, and I'm going to show it to you. So there it is. I've got sparkly stickers and all sorts of things. Oh wait,
I just saw the fuck. There it is.
Yeah, I saw
There
it.
it is.
So there. This is when
Nice.
there's just symptoms. Week 12. Okay,
wow.
so
wow.
and shit's falling out. So every time I went to see my doctor, I would keep postcards of what happened and then come back and write it in this journal.
Wow.
Well, my daughter gave me a book. Now my book is also about running. So it's about running and MS because
something else me and Cliff know nothing about.
Yeah, me neither.
So my daughter gave me a book for Christmas one year, and it was called Bent. It was about a yoga instructor who had been diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's. So she wrote a book. So I was very inspired by her book. And so I bought a laptop computer and I put her book on top of my journal and I just started to write. And the words, and I'm, like I said, I'm not a writer. Like I suck at grammar and all that stuff. I mean, my editor, it was a lot of money to pay her. So I wrote and the words just came out. Like MS made me a writer. MS took my filter. MS, would I give it back? I don't know. I mean, yes, because it's brutal. I'd like to keep the lessons. Can I give it back and keep the lessons? Because
I agree with that.
That's amazing.
How it
You
how
know,
it changed us and made us who we are. I mean, I'm the same person that I was, but I'm completely different also at the same time.
well, you have I can understand your desire to give it fucking back. I 100% can
But I would love
understand
to
that.
keep the lessons too. It slowed me
Yeah.
down. It made me appreciate life so much more and not take
Adam-
anything for granted and live it as much as you can while you can. Because the way I think with is how aggressive mine is and was this whole time is I could wake up tomorrow and I couldn't walk. So I have to do as much today as I can because tomorrow I might not be able to.
I actually feel that same way. And you know, at least it's greater for me than one of you two, most likely. But that's why every morning I wake up, I'm grateful my eyes open and I can stand up, because people take it for fucking granted every day. Every day. So here's my book cover, guys.
It's
Here
awesome.
I am. So
That's great.
Gotta love the middle finger right there.
Yeah.
right? So it's
I'm going
funny
low for it,
because I'm actually not completely naked. I'm wearing Uggs,
What?
but my last name is Blue, like the
Wearing
wind,
Uggs.
not the color.
Mm.
And when I would teach yoga afterwards, I would, you know, people wanted to find me. I'd be like, you know, my name's Julie Blue, like the wind, not the color. So both of these, the title and the picture, came from people on Facebook. So I posted this picture on Facebook, I think it was in 2019. So it was 3 years after my diagnosis. So when you got diagnosed, because you got diagnosed in 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I did not receive one nasty comment about this picture, and I was very nervous. And then someone said to me, that needs to be your book cover.
Order placed.
Oh, geez. Thank you. I donate all the proceeds, by the way, to my charity.
Hey, quick interruption. Do you send these out yourself, or do they have somewhere storing them and they're shipping them?
Oh, no, it was published. It's
is
the
it?
publisher. You can buy it anywhere where books are sold.
Then
It's
quick,
not
as
on
soon
the
as you get
shelves.
it, you need to send it and have her sign it.
Well, I also
Yes,
just
I
realized I just posted my address for anybody watching this, so
Oh, geez.
feel free to. Well, you're not getting
I'm leaving
anything
it.
here. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm posting it. You're doxxed, buddy.
So, and then the title, someone said that has to be your title. So, and when you read the book, you'll see it is about my journey with MS, but I also met an ultra runner with MS. And I begged her to let me pace her at Badwater 135, which is 135 miles from Death Valley.
Jesus Christ.
So
It's the
I'm not going to give you the ending. So what
John,
happened was I wrote chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. And then I went and did this Badwater race. And I came home and wrote the end of the book in like 24 hours. Literally just wrote 24 hours. And then I had to fill in the middle. The whole thing took about 33 months, start to finish.
John. It's the opposite of Kleiner's thing.
Yeah.
She went to the hottest place. Kleiner went to the coldest place.
Yeah.
So our good friend good friend of ours, Kevin Klein, and we're going to have him on at some point. Actually, we'll have him on probably when John and Adam are in Branson. Only reason I say that is so Kevin, he and his wife have a foundation called the Snowdrop Foundation, where they raise money for childhood cancer research. And he did a documentary where he went and ran the Dalton Highway in Alaska in the dead of winter. So it was essentially running an ultra marathon in the coldest place on earth.
Ultra runners are insane.
They
are.
Insane.
I think runners are insane.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate running. I actually hate running, but I'll tell you why I run. So I can walk. That's 100% why I run. And I do yoga so I can run. So it's a big freaking circle.
Always hated running. Always. It's always been like a punishment for me. I was never a guy that could just go run.
Yeah.
I was a sports guy. So if I did something wrong, I ran. If I made an error, I ran. That's ingrained into my head. But you can tell me if I can get to the point where I can run 5 steps, I would be so fucking excited. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Can I see your book again? Your book cover? Because my next profile picture is gonna be exactly that.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh God!
I did not see that coming at all.
I love that. Oh my God. I'm
Adam,
dying.
motherfucker, you have to do that now.
You
Yeah, the
have
problem is
to.
that asshole showed the spider tattoos when he did it.
Yeah, but I was too locked in on whatever he was about to say.
That was so great.
Oh my God. And just like that, folks, we're
That's
gonna
a
go
great
ahead
way
and
to end
wrap
it.
this up. Julie, I can't thank you enough for coming out here. And like I said, I didn't read into your story. I didn't look into your story. I wanted to hear it from you, which has the most impact. We're definitely going to talk more in regards to this docuseries. I think what you're doing is important, and it's important to have it a part of it. I might actually just have you replace Adam. So Adam, you're gone.
Sorry, Adam.
No.
I like him. He's not going anywhere.
You know what the funny thing is? Adam has become such a good friend through all of this. Like, one thing Adam does, and one of his other MS friends did, is they started raising money to help people buy a Nintendo Switch, and they all play Mario Kart together.
Really cool.
When they're there, and I bought a Nintendo Switch to play with them, even though mine works a third of the time.
Oh, that's your excuse for losing to them?
No. I'm gonna lose regardless.
It really does. It's weird. It is weird when John comes on.
I'll mess up
It
everybody
is.
else's
It does.
game.
It messes up the entire game.
But you know, we do that, and it's great because it's a place to go in there, and it's majority 99% MS people, and there's no MS talk. It's playing video games, cussing each other out, and just hanging out. Because obviously the social aspect is so hard with, I mean, since COVID with everything, but I mean, and then just having MS in itself, it's like you can be in bed and hang out with your friends and play video games. And it's funny going in there
That's
because
actually really amazing.
yeah, and that's what Adam was doing before we did this. He was on TikTok live playing Mario Kart with a bunch of the other people.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool thing, and the support they have for each other is outstanding. And what you're doing is wonderful. Cliff texted me in the middle of going, I love this woman. She's outstanding. Like during I was looking at my phone, it was Cliff texting me.
John,
He just likes the book cover. Come on.
No, it was before he saw the book cover.
That was before John was not supposed to share that text.
But Julie and Adam, I thank you guys. Adam, I know we're going to see you a bunch more, as much as I try not to. Julie, it's been great having you on here. I'm super glad I reached out and we connected. And we look forward to having you back on here for sure one of these days.
Yeah.
I would love that. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you, Adam. You're
You as well. I just followed you on Facebook, and I'll be watching out for you more.
Okay, awesome. And I'll
Thank
return
you
the
both.
favor when I get to
look
my
out
phone.
for my
Thanks,
look for
you
my
guys.
next profile picture.
I can't wait. I might have to share that bitch.
You better start working on your book, Adam. Damn it.
Yeah.
But again, we thank you guys
thank you
for
both.
those watching. Please subscribe, like, share this out, comment, engage with it. It helps out with everything. And I just took Cookie's line. There it is. There's the wave. And that's
you ruined. Yeah, you're a dick.
Thanks, guys.
Was a cold November morning when I got scared and